Hey everybody, it's Mr. Patak here. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the second Latin story that we're working on at home. Hopefully you guys can see my face. I set it up so you can see me this time as I go through the story with you guys. I noticed that a lot of people had trouble doing the last one. It could be because it was too long or because I wasn't there to help you, and that's fine. So today I'm going to give you a much shorter one, and I'm going to go through it a lot slower with you guys. So this story is called Minimus Chapter 10, The Romantic Ring. So I'm going to read this and I'm going to break down the story for you, and then you will answer some questions for me. So here is the first sentence. I'm going to read it entirely in Latin. Flavia in cubiculo est, et gemmas spectat. So let's break that down. The first part of our sentence is Flavia in cubiculo est. Okay, putting that all together, this person is Flavia, that's her name. She is in cubiculo. So what does the word est have to mean? Think about that. Est. And it doesn't really show this well in the story, but in cubiculo, that's where she is. There's nothing in the background to show it to you, but that's where she is, in cubiculo. The second part of our sentence is going like this. Et gemmas spectat. It's telling us what she's doing. So we have our connecting word here, et, and that just connects the first half of the sentence with the second half of the sentence. So what does et have to mean? And then what she's doing is gemmas spectat. So spectat is actually the verb. It's what she's doing. And gemmas is what she's doing it to. So what do you think this last part means? Gemmas spectat. Now let's put it all together. This first sentence tells me where she is and what she's doing. Flavia in cubiculo est, et gemmas spectat. Let's go on to our second sentence now. I'm going to just read the Latin first, and then I'll break it down for you guys. Quid est? Annulus est, pretiosus est. Okay, so the first thing, or the first part, goes a little bit like this. Flavia asks, quid est? And Lepidina responds, annulus est. Okay, so let's break this down. Annulus is probably this thing. What is that in English? Think about it. And then if she's asking a question, quid est, and then she responds, well, it is this thing, what does the word quid have to mean? If you ask someone a question, and they respond with what it is, what did the question word quid mean? So, quid est annulus est. And then Lepidina says one more thing about it. She says, pretiosus est. So she's saying something else about the annulus. She's saying it is pretiosus. There's no real way to figure out what pretiosus is unless you looked it up. I gave you a big hint here, and it also sounds a little bit like the English word precious. So think about what pretiosus has to mean. So that's box 2. She asks, quid est? She responds, annulus est. Pretiosus est. And then in box 3, I'm just going to read it again and then I'll break it down for you. She asks, cur pretiosus est? Quod aureus est. So let's look at that. First, she asks, cur pretiosus est. And I already told you what pretiosus, or gave you a hint what pretiosus means. And then she responds, quod aureus est. And so again, you might have to look up aureus if you didn't know it, but it's this thing right here. So she's saying that this thing is that. So let's think about what the question words have to mean. She's asking this pretiosus blank pretiosus. And then she responds, well, this. So think about the question words. Like I ask you a question, like I ask something about my computer, and you tell me, well, the computer is really, it's got a really good graphics card, Mr. Patak. So, what was I asking in the first place about it for you to tell me, like, why it is in such a way? So think about what cur has to mean and what quod has to mean. She's asking something about expensiveness, about the price, and she's responding something about, well, gold. I'll leave these up to you to try to figure out what they mean, cur and quod. If you don't know, of course, go to Weektionary and type them in, and they should show up for you there. So that's going to be it for this one. Like I said, I wanted to keep this one a lot shorter from the last one, because I think the last one was a little bit too long for us to do through distance learning. I'm going to break this week's assignments up into two. So there's this one first, and in the next video, I'm going to do the second assignment. Okay, let me know if you guys have any questions, and go ahead and complete the Google form that came along with this. Walete. Bye.